Okay, now we're going to actually read some data into our notebook. This is what we're normally going to want to do. We might have made some data as a spreadsheet in the lab, or we might have downloaded it or uploaded it from somewhere. But we're going to need to get data, probably in the form of a spreadsheet, and get it into the program so we can analyze it and plot it. Okay, let's have a look at how we do this. So probably the first step is to create a folder to put the data in, just to keep it separate from everything else. So what you do is you go up here to New Folder, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, Data. Okay, so now we have a folder here called Data, and if we click on that, we see it's empty. Right, so let's find some data to put in there. So here I've created a Excel spreadsheet. I'm assuming I've done some experiment measuring how far something's gone in a given time, so I've got a whole bunch of times and distances. It's always important that your spreadsheet should have, as a first line, the title of the columns, because we're going to need that later on, preferably as a single word, like time or distance. Okay, so our first step is to import that into my drive, and that's just drag into the folder. It'll say starting upload, upload complete. We can double click on this and actually edit it here if we want to, so we can see the data there. So if you've got something wrong, we can change it like that. But for the moment, let's just have it in there. What we want to do now is load it into our Jupyter notebook. Now this is another magic incantation. Here we have it. What this does, if we shift enter on that one, is it'll tell Google that we want to import data from a Google Drive. Now the first time you run this, I've run this before, but the first time you run it, you will come up with a message saying we need permissions, we need to be allowed to access the folders. So read it carefully and click yes to all that, and that will give Google Colab the right to access files in your Google Drive, which you're going to need. Okay, we've done that, and what that means is it's got a drive. It now can treat content/drive as a hard drive it can read things from. The next step is to import the pandas package. Pandas stands for Python Data Analysis, and this is a package of software that does all sorts of useful things to do with reading in data, splitting it up, separating it out, doing calculations on it, and so on. So we're definitely going to want this. So shift enter on that, and then it's come in. And now we can use the pandas command. One of the pandas command is the read_Excel, which will read Excel files. Now there's also pandas command to read CSV files and many other data formats. So if you don't have Excel files, that's fine. There are many other formats you can use. Anyway, we do have pandas.readExcel. That means go to the pandas package and find the readExcel command. I've not imported the whole pandas package. I'm just going to let you import one command at a time when you need it. And then inside the brackets, inside quotes, you have to put what's called the path to the file you want to import. Now the file we want to import is called movement data, and it's in the folder my drive/data. If we go back to here, we can see it's in my drive data. So what we type is the /content/drive, which is up here, and then /my drive/data, which is the folder it's in, then another slash, then the name of the file including its extension at the end. And if we shift enter on that, magic will happen, and we've now read it in. What that means is the data that was sitting in an Excel file in your Google Drive is now sitting in the memory of the computer, and it's got the label data. To check that it's come in, what you can do is type data.head, and you have to have an open and close brackets for obscure reasons. And if you shift enter on that, it'll tell you what you've got. It'll generally print out the first few lines of the whole thing. So you've got a whole bunch of times and of distances. And you can also, if you just want to know the times, you can do data.time. And that just prints out the first column. And you can simply do the same for data.distance. If you want to do this using Anaconda Python, the procedure is basically fairly similar. However, the folder will be a normal folder on your hard drive. So usually it's easiest to put it in the same folder as your program. So our program here, untitled.ipynotebook, is in OneDrive.documents, and so it's easiest if you just move the Excel file into the same folder, and then you can just not bother with the path, but just read _Excel and the name of the folder in quotes, and that will import it